Hi all. So in this section we will see about castings. What is a casting? What are the steps involved in casting? And what are the different applications where these castings are used? Right. First of all, casting. What do you mean by casting? It is nothing but a manufacturing process which uses molten material or molten metal to produce a component. It is a manufacturing process which uses molten material that is to be poured into a mold or a mold cavity, from where it is heat treated and solidified to create the final output of a product. Right? So this is about the casting. So in this we use a molten material or metal, we call as metal. Next we use molds. Next we use heat treatment. Solidification. Cleaning. Right? So these are these processes we use in producing a casting part. Right? First one, we'll go step by step. In this, before producing a casting product or for producing a casting component, we use mold cavity. So this is produced by having the desired shape and size of the part. This mold cavity have to be prepared as per our requirement based on the size and shape of the component. Next, melting process. So in this, required material should be melted. It should be like a liquid form. Actually, in normal cases, material will be in the solid state. If you take cast iron, steel, aluminium, brass, bronze, so all these will be in the solid state of materials. So we have to convert this solid state into liquid state. So for this we use different heating techniques. Based on the material we have to, or based on the material properties, we have to heat that material and bring it to the liquid state. So this is called as a melting process. Third one, pouring technique. So this liquid metal should be poured into the mold cavity. It should be poured into the mold cavity. So there are different techniques. By hand or scoop we can pour it, or with the help of pressure we can pour it, or with the help of tubes we can pour it. So there are different pouring techniques. So these techniques depends on the final output of the product, final output of the casting, right? Next one is solidification. So what is this solidification? Solidification means cooling that casting part before the final output. So here in this pouring technique we used to pour the liquid into the mold cavity. It has to hold on for some time, then it has to solidify. That means we have to cool that mold cavity. Why do we need cooling or solidification? Means for attaining some chemical properties of the casting, we need to do solidification process, right? Mold removal. Then after solidification, we have to remove the mold inside which there is our required casting part. This mold will be different types. Expandable mold, permanent mold. Expandable mold means it is made up of sand, plastic. Means in this expandable mold we can break the mold and pull the casting part. It is non-reusable. We can't reuse this mold because it is made up of some porous material like sand, fiber, plastic. It is used only once. Permanent mold, it is made up of metal. It is made up of metal and it can be reused for batch production or mass production. If a component is required in mass production, means more than 1000 quantity or 2000 quantity or more than 100 quantity, we call as a mass production or bulk production. So one after the other we have to remove the mold, and again that mold is prepared for this melting process, and the process repeats again. So this is about the permanent mold. Next one is last one. Cleaning, finishing and material removal. So once we remove the casting from the mold, that casting should be cleaned, finished, and there are some extra material. There will be some extra material on the casting component. That material needs to be removed with the help of cutting machines. There are different material removal processes. trimming. So with the help of those processes, we have to clean the part. Also, if required, we have to again provide some heat treatment to the casting process part. Final output of the part, we have to again heat treat. We have to give heat treatment process, because to attain the physical or chemical properties, to attain the chemical properties of the casting part as per our requirement, to withstand loads or for wear and tear purposes, based upon the requirement of the casting part, we have to provide again heat treatment process. So this is about the steps in casting. So first one is, we have to create a mold cavity. In that mold cavity, before that, you have to prepare some molten metal which is from solid state to liquid state by heating. Then that molten metal is poured into the mold cavity with this help of different techniques. By either we can pour directly with the help of a scoop, or with force, or through tubes. After that, we have to keep that component for some time. After that, the solidification process begins, wherein we have to cool that component. Afterward, we have to remove the mold. That mold may be expandable or a permanent mold. Then comes the final output of the casting, on which we have to perform cleaning, finishing and material removal processes. Right? So these are the steps involved in casting processes.